Video's rolling. And 1, 2, 3. Okay. Alrighty. Welcome back to The Outsider's Perspective. I am Rock the Outsider here as usual with my
Emeka.
co-host. And we have a very special guest today. My grandfather is here joining us. He's going to give, an opinion of how prison is in his perception as someone who's never been locked up, have you?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So someone who's never been but had to deal with a family member. He's always been a bit curious of what really goes on. So I guess we're going to answer any questions that he has.
Well, I have quite a few, but I'll start off with asking something that came to me as I was thinking about this podcast. Were you ever at any time while being locked up comfortable?
Yes. Yeah. I can say yeah.
Yeah, I can say the same because it's up to you to make your own comfort.
Right. It's situational comfort. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that I would wish for right now.
Hell no.
But definitely because I had to be incarcerated, there were times where I was in dorms and I felt comfortable enough to be able to take a nap or be able to, go to sleep. I've been in dorms where as long as the doors were unlocked, there wasn't no sleeping because there's no telling what might happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like and then if you do want to take a nap, you better take a nap with your boots on.
Yeah.
Like
or have somebody that's on the lookout for you.
What exactly does that mean? Take a nap with your boots on. Why? What does boots on mean?
Means you're like you have you wear boots like shoes.
Well, back in the day we wore boots.
Yeah, before they changed them to Crocs.
Yeah, now they made us wear Crocs, but what was it, about
2018, 19 maybe?
Yeah, they came into the prison system and took everyone's boots away
and gave us Crocs.
And gave them Crocs. Now, if you have like an outside detail or a detail like in the kitchen or something, they'll give you boots to wear to work. To work, and that's it.
You said if you want to take a nap, you better take a nap with your boots on. If you get caught without your boots on, what would be the difference? And
you'll be fighting in your socks? Or
barefoot? Like if something happens and you got to jump up real quick,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You already have your boots on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You got to be prepared.
So how much did fear dictate your actions?
Damn, that's a good question. It just depends on the situation, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely been moments of fear where I didn't think that I was going to make it home, but it wasn't necessarily because of other people, Like, one time, I was having trouble with asthma, and the door was locked. And I woke up at, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was having a hard time breathing. And, shit, there's nothing I could do till they pop them doors.
Yeah.
And they don't pop the doors till 6, 7, sometimes 8 o'clock.
So there's no emergency situation that would have caused them to open the doors to come to you to give you aid?
No. There was a situation, you can talk about.
If they were to go by the books and the close security prison we were at, being a maximum security prison, they have rules and what's it called?
SOP.
Yeah, standard operation procedures. Now, in the SOP, it says that close security inmates should always be in view of of their guards or whatever, and they're supposed to do rounds every 30 minutes, or is it 15 minutes?
I think it's 15 minutes.
15 minutes, I think.
I think 15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes in isolation.
And every 30 minutes in regular population, meaning that an officer has to walk around and walk past every single door
and open and look inside every
make
door.
Sure everyone's alive in the room, and make sure the dorm is secure. They don't do that.
They don't do that
at all.
There was times during COVID where we didn't have an officer all night
in the booth. Like
it might be 12-hour shifts where there's no officer in the booth. We're just in there.
I remember there was one Christmas. I'll never forget this. You were already at home. I'm not even gonna say where I was at, but the Sally port and the front door to the dorm was open. They had what's it called? Ramadan, or not Ramadan? December fast.
Yeah.
What are they?
I don't think it's any religion, is it?
Yeah, it's like the 5%ers and the Nation of Islam. They do a December fast. So because the officers are so low, one officer came by to drop off the food for the fast, and she left, but she left the door open. That door stayed open from when she left at like 4 o'clock to the next morning 5:30, and what was crazy to me, I looked at someone, I said, "Hey man, that door is wide open. It's been open since you left." I'm like, all these people in here with life sentences and just never going home.
Where did the door lead to that you're speaking about?
Outside.
Outside.
Literally out of the prison?
Yeah.
Well, no, out of the dorm.
Outside of the dorm. And of course, you have to go scale a fence to get out, but there's no officers on duty.
The biggest obstacle was the door.
Yeah.
Like if
so
that's open.
What's crazy is that you asked about comfort. There are people that are in prison right now that are comfortable where they are, and they don't want to go anywhere. There are opportunities at a certain prison where the security is very. It's
sometimes non-existent.
Yeah, non-existent. Like at that time, that Christmas, people could have went outside, climbed the fence, took their time and climbed the fence, jumped down safely and everything, and walked home.
But could it be that those people that didn't have any place to go, and that's the reason why they didn't do it?
Well,
rather than not wanting to leave?
Yeah.
Just because they didn't have any place to go if they left?
That's about right. They don't have anywhere else to go. But it's like me personally, the way I feel, after doing that time in there, like if I had like a life sentence and I had an opportunity to leave, I'm going to leave. Whether I had a family or not. I'd rather live under a bridge or live anywhere out here in the free world than live in prison. Like that's just me though. And I don't see why other people wouldn't think like that, especially if you have a life sentence and you're never going home. Like there are people with multiple life sentences.
What is it about the prison that made you come to that conclusion as far as not wanting to be there like that? I mean, I can understand not wanting to be locked up, but what is it exactly? Was it just the fact of not being free?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to be able to do what I want to do. I want to be able to be me. And there, you can't really be you.
You can't be yourself. You have to be this.
At no time.
Well, there are little times where your personality, your personality is going to be what it is. But just me being able to wear what I want to wear, and just do the things I want to do.
Right.
You can't do it.
So why is there such a high rate of recidivism?
Just like you said, with people not having anywhere to go, not really having a support system, and not having the mental, like the mindset that they need, because you've been locked up for however many years. You're so used to the way that system works. A lot of people aren't free thinkers. Like we were having this conversation earlier. Most people don't think for themselves.
Right. What kind of support would keep somebody from wanting to go back to what they've become accustomed to for years?
I think for both of us, I think we both have good family support.
Yeah,
definitely, because the day I got out, I had somewhere to go lay my head. My uncle helped me buy a car so that I was able to get to and from work. Like, that's a big difference, because there are people who get out with the $25 that the state gives them and literally have nowhere to go. They have no idea what they're going to do. So they end up going back to whatever it was they did prior to getting locked up, whether it was selling drugs or doing drugs or robbing, whatever, because that's all they know.
How often did you guys cry yourselves to sleep?
The whole time I was in prison, I think I cried maybe twice. It got to the point where I couldn't cry. Like, I wanted to. Like, I was in the hole one time, like, trying to make myself cry, because, like, your body needs that release. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get that out sometimes, and I couldn't.
So what did you do?
Tried, and then gave up and then started doing something else.
Wow. Yeah, that you are right about needing that relief, and my comfort spot, like my place to cry, is on my mom's shoulder. So when I see her, like at visitation and at family day, I need at least like 2 minutes with it. I was like, come on, just give me a hug and just let me hold you. She's like, Mikey, you okay? I'm like, it's okay. I'm okay. Just let me hug you.
Are there guards that make life easier than it would be were they not there?
There are some
you guys came in contact with.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's the opposite as well.
And the SOPs that you mentioned, why wouldn't the guards come around those times when they were supposed to according to procedures?
Because they don't
Simple.
have to.
Lazy.
Yeah.
They don't have to because they're supervisors.
But
They're
there
doing
are
the same
those
thing.
that did, or no?
No.
Jawinski.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, there was one.
And when he did,
Yeah, everybody gave him hell.
everybody got mad at him.
Everybody gave him
Yeah,
hell.
they got mad at him for doing his job.
But he
And
did
then
it. And
he
you
did
know
do
what?
it.
I like Jawinski because he go by the book, and he really wasn't an asshole. Like, if you're an asshole to him, he's going to be an asshole right back.
But yeah,
But
he had a very weird sense of humor
Yeah.
that I don't think a lot of people knew how to deal with because
he definitely watches Rick and Morty.
yeah, there's people in prison with very fragile egos, and they take everything as an offense to them, and so a lot of people can't appreciate humor. Like, I think one thing that helped me get through prison is being able to laugh. Just have a group of people. Like, I understand that we're locked up, and some of us are never going home. Some of us are going home 50 years. Whatever.
Some of them that is home.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a conversation with anyone who was never going to get out that gave you any pointers or made you feel better about your situation because of what they were experiencing?
Yeah, so that reminds me of the day that I got sentenced. I got sentenced to 10 years. And there was this older guy. He was a GD from, I think he was from Chicago. And he got sentenced the same day that I did. And his release date was like 2065 or something like that.
Damn.
And he told me, he's like, look, you know what I'm saying? Just focus on that date that you have. Like, you have a date. There's so many people that don't. There's so many people that aren't going to make it home.
How did you feel after you were sentenced to 10 years about that number?
It was weird because I got sentenced at 19 years old. So 10 years, that's more than half I had already lived than what I've already lived.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like retrospective, like when I got out right before my 30th birthday, by the time I turned 30, a third of my life had been spent behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
So did you think of what you might have been doing in that time had you not been locked away?
That was definitely a thought that crossed my mind all the time. But now that I've been through it, and like especially having the mindset that I have, and all of the things that I did while I was locked up, I did things to better myself. Like, I didn't just sit around and just wait around. Like I took advantage of my time, and I believe it helped because. Well, hold on. Well, I was going to say, what was I going to? Okay, I believe that it was for a reason. Like, everything happened, like, it's beyond me, and I took advantage of my situation. And now that I'm out, like, I've got this platform that I'm trying to build to actually help other people. None of this would be possible had I not been locked up. Yeah. I would have never met this guy. We have a great relationship. You know what I'm saying? We would have never met one another. I've met really good people that have been locked up, and they just are in unfortunate circumstances. A lot of people just did something stupid one time, and they're being punished for it.
There are many people that you've met that you didn't feel like should even be locked up.
Oh yeah, plenty of people.
And that was something that left an impression on you as far as your feelings about being locked up goes. Do you ever feel locked up still, or no? Do you feel like you're really, I don't know how to say, not free, but I guess the question is, you've broken psychological barriers as far as that were put on you when you were actually physically locked into a facility?
Some. I still see some things emerge, like habits that formed when I was locked up. Like I was telling you earlier, me wearing the same shoes every day, because for the longest time I was only allowed one pair of shoes.
Yeah.
So like, now that I have multiple pairs of shoes, I still find myself wearing the same pair of shoes every day.
Hey, not me, man. Like, I was never like a shoes type of guy, but I think subliminally since I've been home, I've just been getting lots of shoes. I like boots, so
Yeah.
I have like 5 pairs of boots right now.
I buy like I have lots of pairs of shoes. Like I buy shoes.
I wear all of them though.
But what one thing, going to work, I have to wear a specific pair of shoes to work. So then like once that's ingrained in me and I go to work every day, when I leave the house I slip those same shoes on. So even when I'm not going to work, I kind of just like habitually slip into those same shoes cuz they're not like work. It's not like I'm wearing work boots or fucking steel toes or something. They're just black shoes.
Mm-hmm. Was it? Do you feel the same way as far as it being? I mean, I know it wasn't totally a good experience, but do you feel like there was some value that came out of it that may not have been, as far as your life goes, that you wouldn't have experienced had you not gone through?
Yeah, I was actually having this same conversation with someone yesterday, and you know, being able to have all the time in the world, you can take advantage of that, you know, and being in there, that's a quote, or that's like a saying, you know, you got all the time in the world because you're locked up and you don't have anything to do. You're like in a void, you know. So I spent a lot of time in the hole, like in solitary confinement for stupid stuff. You know, I'm defiant, you know, especially when it comes to like authority.
What is that? Solitary confinement. What is solitary confinement?
They put you in a cell by yourself, or sometimes with
how
a
long?
roommate. I've never done anything less than 30 days, a whole month.
Meaning you had no contact with any other inmates, or?
I had a lot of times I had a roommate, and he'd be locked down for like the same amount of time, 30
But
days.
you guys would be in there together?
Yeah.
Did you have access to books or recordings or television or anything like that?
Well, up until they gave us those JP5 tablets, which was, what year? Do you remember what year?
17. I
Yeah,
think.
like 2017. Yeah, we had books, and they had a library, and
So you got a lot of reading done.
oh yeah, I've read more books than I've ever read in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd easily read thousands of books in those 10 years.
Yeah, I've
like,
learned
easily.
to enjoy books.
There was
Okay.
reading.
So in that respect, then it seems like everything is not downhill. It seems like
No. You know, you just gotta look on the bright side sometimes. You know, and on the bright side is I've learned how to not necessarily learn how to read, but learn how to enjoy reading.
right.
I've learned how to make liquor. I've learned how to craft like metal. I've learned
tell
how
me
to,
about the making liquor part. How did you come up with that?
science. It's just
yeah.
chemistry.
Well, there was my liquor master. You know, Edward Meadows. He that's my dude. You know, he taught me how to make everything everything I've done. So
The ingredients. How do you come about with the ingredients that you need? Is it like you're not supposed to have them, right?
no, you're not supposed to have it, but there's
There are
ways to
ways?
get it. You know, they sell it to us. If you think about it, you get sugar. All you need is sugar and yeast.
Yeah, they
and
sell
fruit.
sugar on
Sometimes
the
sell,
store.
Sell sugar on the store, and there's many ways to do it. You can get water bottles, fill them up with the sugar and yeast and fruit, and then you put a bunch of water bottles up under your bed and let it ferment.
So in that respect, it's a good thing that the standard of operations is not.
For
upheld.
sure.
Oh yeah. It has its goods
It
and
definitely
bads,
has a good
but,
side to it.
You know, as long as you have the right mind, then you can protect yourself from the stupid shit that goes on.
How does one go about making money off of things that are not supposed to be created inside there?
There's a barter system for everything. The one thing about prison, it's all about what you have, what you can get.
Mm-hmm.
What can you get that he can't get? What can he do that you can't do?
Mm-hmm.
So with us being able to cook liquor, there's a lot of people that say they can cook liquor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that try, that think it's easy. And then you have people like us who actually go in there and do it. Like I can go into a dorm and create a whole new economy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can turn a dorm around just from the ability to cook liquor. And so like it's all about what you have.
What
everything
part
is worth
of a
the value.
prison is a dorm?
Just the cell block.
So it's a dormitory. Like we were in a 96-man dorm.
Yeah. 24
So
cells upstairs, 24
when one
downstairs.
sees a prison where they have the different levels and the cells on different levels
Mm-hmm.
and the sliding the way the gates close or the.
I haven't been anywhere like that. I think those are more
older
like
prisons.
the older prisons, like up north.
So
Jackson
and
was
out
like
west.
that.
Jackson was like that.
Yeah.
What are the new ones like? You just have individual doors that they close on you?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
individual rooms.
For how many people in a dorm?
Depends.
Last one was at 96 in the dorm, 2-man cells.
Yeah,
But the cells are so small.
How small?
about the size of the bathroom.
Yeah, the size of that bathroom.
With 2 people inside
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and 2 beds
Yep.
A bunk bed.
Bunks.
and a toilet.
Toilet and
And
a
a
sink.
sink.
2 locker boxes.
Okay. Do you have blankets and?
Yeah.
Okay.
Blanket sheets and pillows on a mat.
But the beds are steel.
Well, yeah, they give you a mat,
Yeah.
like a whatever. It's not cotton. It's
I don't know
not,
what it
I don't
is.
know. It's just
Some
a bunch of
polymers
stuff.
stuffed
something
in there.
Stuffed inside the
Like
mat.
a mat for a mattress.
Yeah.
Think of like like the little small mattresses that go in the bottom of like a baby crib.
Right.
Think about those on a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the little flexible, not like the stiff ones, like the little flexible
Now,
ones.
they, if I understand correctly, removed like the apparatus, like weights and things like that from prisons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like nationwide or is it that state?
That's just
state or-
Georgia.
I think it's more than just Georgia, but I think it varies from.
And
There's probably
why
places.
did they do that? Because prisoners were getting buffed up and then hurting the guards? Or
That
what?
is one reason that I've heard, and then I heard also that people were using the weights as weapons. Like somebody dropped a set of weights on a dude's head, and just
Okay.
people do dumb shit.
I think those are just excuses because we got many weapons.
Yeah,
I remember they took out these desks. We used to have desks inside of the rooms so that we can sit down and write and study. And they took the desks out because they said that we were making knives with them. But when they took the desks out, there was even more knives.
Yeah.
So I felt like when they did that, it was really to deter us from reading and studying.
So
and
these desks were like portable things that you could put underneath the bed or
No,
something?
they were
they
affixed to
attached
the wall,
Attached to the wall in a small area.
like in between the 2 locker boxes.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's see. How did you feel initially when you were first sentenced? I mean,
Man.
when you first are sentenced, it's like that's it. You can't leave it from that point.
Yeah, it's like it's
Until-
done. Here's what's going on. Yeah, well, when I got sentenced, I had a sentence where the first thing the judge said, I'm gonna have to sentence you to 20 years. He said 20 years. It was like I was in a dream. Like what?
Yeah,
Wake up. There's no way the man just said 20 years. And then he's like, but I'm gonna say that you served 12 years in the penitentiary. I was like, okay, damn, that sucks still, but it's better than 20 years.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
And then I started to feel something like, oh man, I'm really gonna have to. There's no way I'm gonna do this. There's no way I'm gonna do all this time, especially for the situation that I was in, which we'll get into that some other time. But the situation that I was in did not call for me to do 12 years.
my situation didn't either.
So it just stunned me.
how long did it take you for the stun to go away? And what actually happens from the time that he says what the judge that says that to you? What happens from the time that he delivers that to you until you get to where you're going to be? What goes on between that time?
Yeah, they pretty much send you back to the county jail, and then
You just
about
wait.
a
Just
week,
wait on the
yeah,
transfer
about
bus,
A week
yeah.
where I was at, they sent me to Jackson. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
But
that's
it was the feeling just being in that courtroom and just it's like all the air. It feels like you're like in a compressed like environment. It feels so. I don't even know the word for it.
You just felt helpless.
No, not helpless. It was just like intense. Like it was like some real intense shit.
The thoughts of escape.
Yeah.
The thoughts of escape ever.
Oh,
your
yeah.
mind?
all the
Man,
time, constantly.
I'm gonna tell you this, just like I was saying about leaving, because the door was open at, that one dorm. My mom knows me, and she knows me well, and I had a conversation with her, like when I was at my first prison, and we were just talking, and I forgot the conversation we was talking about, but at the end, before he hung up, she was like, "Mikey, I want you to promise me something." I'm like, "What?" I'm thinking she's gonna tell me, "Don't hurt anybody in there.
Don't try and
do
escape.
She's like, "Just promise me you'll do this time, and then and just come home. You know, just do it." And she pretty much telling me, "Don't try to escape. Don't do that," because she already knew that.
What are the consequences of trying? They can kill you.
Oh yeah. That's
I mean, potentially, but they
if you cross over the gun line, then if you cross the gun line,
the other gun line,
that's your ass. Yeah.
So have you had the experience of seeing someone trying to cross the gun line and get?
I've seen people escape and come back.
Yeah, all the time.
People would literally escape prison, be outside the gate to go pick up a pack with drugs and tobacco in it, and then come back inside. Like, you are free. What are you doing?
Is there a punishment that goes with doing that?
Or if you get caught, there's
getting
like
caught with the
5
pack.
years.
I mean, yeah, but if you got a life
5 years,
but if you got a life sentence, what difference?
Yeah,
does
that's
it make?
it. That's definitely it.
That's it. I mean, 5 years for just
Escaping.
they caught you and brought you back, but they give you 5 more years onto that.
But what difference does it make?
Putting you in the hole.
Yeah, if you have a life sentence.
If you have a life sentence, what's
or
that
if you
extra
have
5 years?
20-something years, it doesn't even matter. You know?
That's true. If you have a sentence.
So you're just gambling time then.
That long.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Which you have unlimited of. So if it's 5 years that that they're gonna tack onto it, well, fuck it. I got a life sentence. Let me get 5 more.
Or you'll go to
give me 20.
You'll go to the hole for
Do you
14,
guys ever
20 months.
Hear about the rate of recidivism inside the prison as far as how many people come back?
You see it.
I did. Oh, crazy thing too. I had a 12 year sentence, and I ended up doing 13 and a half years. That's just which is crazy because they miscalculated my time. I did grievances. I did all the procedure to get it fixed, and they denied it all. And I did 13 and a half years on a 12 year sentence.
Is there any way that you can recoup any of that time as far as being
compensated?
I mean, compensation is about the only thing I can think of.
I'd have to look into
that's
it.
what I'm talking about.
For an extra year and a half, I want like a couple million.
$300 an hour.
No, I just want we'll settle for $2 million, and I'll go on.
They're not going to do that, would they?
They should.
They might
if you showed that you possess the ability to make that amount within that period of time, they would. I could see that being justified to do it, but you had been in there prior to doing that extra year and a half for 12 years. So I mean, what could you have done?
See, I would ask for a lot of money if that was the case because, say they would compensate me for the time that I would have spent, making money if I were out. It's not about that. It's about these holes I got in my back. The experiences I had. You took my life away for 13 and a half years. I couldn't see my nephews grow up. I couldn't start a family.
The psychological
something
trauma.
that's priceless. That's priceless. There's no price that you can put on that.
Okay.
So, really, they should give me everything they have.
And you haven't sought any kind of advice in that direction as far as legal?
Not yet. But I have a lot of definitely.
Is there a statute up on it as far as limitation goes? How long you can not ask for it before you won't be able to get it?
Well, I'm still serving my sentence. I'm on probation. Remember, I said I had a 20-year sentence, but to serve 12. So I had a 20-year sentence, and I'm serving 12 years. I served 12 years in prison. I'm doing 8 more years on probation.
So what does probation mean? You just don't have the right to go certain places or do certain things?
Yeah. And you're pretty much serving a sentence, but you're
out.
Yeah,
right. You're
society.
just supervised.
Yeah, you're in society. You're supervised. Yeah.
You have a ankle bracelet?
No,
they don't put things like that on people on probation.
No, that's usually for people that are like pre-trial
stuff. Yeah.
So like you don't run before your trial.
But I pretty much meet with my probation officer every month, or you could be on non-report.
Yeah, I got put on non-report after a few months because I've only been out for 18 months.
Okay, so for 8 years you can't go to leave the country?
Well, no, you can get a travel pass.
Oh, depending on where you're going.
You just got to get it approved by your probation officer.
Okay, okay. Have you known or have you heard about anyone who may have received a travel pass and didn't come back or didn't want to come or tried to stay? What would be the consequences of someone getting a pass and leaving and not coming back?
Well, it depends on what country. If you never come back, then you can't do anything to you.
Some countries you can be in like asylum.
Some countries, yeah.
And then also, I believe if you like probation runs out. So like say you're gone for the extension of your probation, right? Past whatever your final date of probation is.
Mm-hmm.
Once that date is passed, then there's nothing that they can do about it.
So is that date made up with hours as far as how many hours you have to do or anything?
Well, no,
like that?
just like all right. So I got sentenced to 20, do 10, which means 20-year sentence, serve 10. From that time starts from the day that I was locked up. So I got locked up June 19th, 2012.
Okay, so June 19th.
2032, I will be off probation. But I found out that I can get out early because of just my behavior and the fact that I'm working and I'm showing them that I'm not actively committing new crimes or anything.
What
like
about
that.
the money that you were talking about? You had to pay them for. What was that for?
I mean,
Restitution?
I have restitution for like I have a $300 restitution because my co-defendant broke somebody's phone. I don't know why we both had to pay $300 for one phone, but it is what it is. And then there's no other restitution beyond that because
So had that not occurred, you wouldn't have owed anything.
I mean, you still have like legal fees
court
because I
fines.
have a court-appointed lawyer, so I have court fines and I have like supervision fines.
And the government doesn't finance any of that.
No.
You got to pay it.
Right.
Well, you pay it to the best of your ability. Like right now, it's expensive out here. And
Yeah.
my probation officer, she asked me, "Have you paid any of the monthly fees?" And I was like, "Well, it's been kind of tight, So she was like, "Well, I'm not gonna press you about it because really legally they can't violate you for not paying."
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's
They used to.
Then why pay if they can't do anything to you?
That's why I ain't been paying.
I haven't paid either.
I ain't paid no
Okay.
shit.
I've paid a little bit, but then like I was in between jobs, and then I got a new job, and I was trying to get back on I'm trying to get back on my feet. I'm not really worried about
shit
paying
ain't
you
easy.
guys.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for what? Like, what are you doing for me? Why am I giving you my money?
Yeah.
So
You know what
did
I'm
you
saying?
guys have a jury, or was it just the judge?
I went to a jury trial.
I took a plea.
By choice?
Yes, by choice.
Because they offered you the option of having a plea?
Yeah, they offered me an option for a plea. My situation, long story short, I beat a guy up. It was a drug transaction. I beat him up. It was a mutual fight, but I won. He called the police, told them that I robbed him, and they wanted to offer me to plea out to robbery. I said, no, I can't plea out to robbery, but I'll meet you halfway. I'll plea out to aggravated assault or battery, something like that.
Because of the time that you would have been given had it been
because it was not an armed robbery, and I volunteered to take aggravated assault or battery or something, for
lesser.
for winning the fight. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but she wouldn't do it, and she knew the situation. The DA knew it. Even the judge, when he sentenced me, he was like, "Well, I do feel like this was a drug deal gone wrong, and the victim's not a sympathetic victim. He knew what he was doing, but I still have to sentence you." He said that himself. So
How does that DA thing work out? You said she didn't do. DAs sometimes not like somebody for some reason where they might want to just show them that they have the power to do something like hurt you more than they.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
think
exactly what she did.
The DA, in my opinion, is the worst person in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like, they just want a conviction. They don't care
They
about...
don't care about you as a person. They don't care about your family. They don't care who they're hurting by locking
That's
you
their
up.
job.
Yeah, to get a
To get a conviction.
It's not about justice. It's about convictions, and I guess that's what they consider justice. But, if someone is charged with, I don't know, running a stop sign or something, and they didn't run it, but this DA wants to get you convicted of running that stop sign. No, even though they know you didn't run that stop sign, they're going to try everything they can to get you convicted.
Yeah. It's not about guilt
the
and
truth
innocence.
doesn't prevail.
The truth doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
It's not about guilt and innocence. It's not about who did what. It's about who makes a better story in prison. Like, is it the defense or is it the prosecution? Like, who makes a better story for the jury?
Yeah,
and
you're
then the
trying to
jury
convince the
decides.
jury.
That's all you're doing. You're trying to convince the jury if this person did that or if this person didn't do that.
And then when you go into the actual jury trial, the judge, he doesn't partake in the trial. He just sits back
And waits for the verdict.
and waits. Yeah, and waits for the verdict. So, but the judge has like, he can do whatever in that courtroom. He can stop it at any moment. He can.
After the verdict has been rendered, can he change it?
I believe he can.
Yeah, the judge can do whatever.
The
he
judge
wants.
can do whatever he wants.
Okay. And how are judges appointed to the cases? Do you know? I mean, how do they? Does
I'm not
this have
sure.
something to do
I
with?
think it's determined by the DA, the district attorney. A lot of the times, what they'll do, they'll go out and play golf, and then the DA will go over and play golf with the judge and like, hey, what's up, man? I got these people right here. I'm gonna get them to plea out, but I'm gonna take this one to trial.
So the golf thing is real.
Hell yeah, it's real.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, all trials are solved on the golf course.
Yeah, it's like we're like trading cards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, all right, I'll get this guy to take a plea if you let this guy go free.
Yeah, but make sure you get this many years. Make sure you get this conviction.
Yeah.
Make sure at the end of the month you have at least this many convictions of this.
Wow. Have either of you ever researched the golf game to see how that came into existence that way?
Attorneys have told me themselves.
I
Yeah.
know. They
I've
make
had-
movies
I've had
about
I'm
it.
going off to the golf course and I'm gonna talk to this judge and I'm gonna see if I can get you a bond. It's like, really?
I never thought about it that deep, but they make movies showing them actually talking about deals and stuff like that with regard to prison on the golf course.
Yeah.
Very true.
I even wrote a
That
scene
is
about
accurate.
it.
That, as far as the movies go, that is very accurate.
That is interesting.
Now, you were saying about recidivism. Now, unlike me, an outsider, there are people in there that don't have the I guess motivation to do anything with themselves. So they'll sit in prison and I don't know, they'll get high from the day they walk in until it's time for them to go home. Then they'll go home and get high, continue getting high and doing whatever stupid stuff that they do. Now it's up to you to make up your mind of what you're gonna do when you get out. You're gonna come back, or you're gonna stay out there and do what you want to do. Now, even if you are gonna go back out there and sell drugs, say I was gonna be a drug dealer when I came out. I had 13 and a half years to prepare to be a drug dealer. So if I got caught for dealing drugs this time, if I'm still gonna deal drugs when I get out, and I'm trying to do it without getting caught, I have all this time to prepare to do it. So it's up to you as far as recidivism goes.
So it's not about reform.
Not at all.
It's not
No,
about
no.
reform.
Prison is
It's a
not-
business.
yeah.
They don't have classes to help
They have a few.
people to have to aspire or to inspire.
Yeah, they have a few.
We worked in education together.
Yeah, we did work in education together. Like, it's not hard to get a detail.
Well,
you
was
know?
that helpful?
I feel like I did my part. I helped a lot of people pass their GED.
No, not what you did. I'm saying the fact that you had a class. Did you take a class? Or
I've taken many
multiple
classes.
classes.
Yeah.
Were they helpful?
Some of them. A lot of them were paper trails. Like, we had this program where we were, and so it's like, oh, you guys have the most classes ever at this prison, but 9 times out of 10, the class was a group of inmates sitting in a room. Like, all right, you sign this paper, say you came to this class, and then we're just gonna sit here and bullshit for an
Meeting
hour.
of the minds class, fitness class,
Yeah, X-Corps,
like, yeah, just a bunch of
Be
stuff
a
on
man
paper.
class. Like, it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
bunch of
Okay.
stuff on paper.
I understand.
The only ones I felt like I actually learned something. I took a class. There was a guy in there who was a CPA before he got locked up, so he taught us a little bit about like accounting and stuff like that,
Finance.
and then ethics, which I thought was a really good class. I mean,
So there were classes that helped.
some, yeah,
And
but
it
not
all
as
comes
not,
down
it's not
to-
as good as big as it's not as many as they made it seem.
Yeah, and it all comes down to who's doing it too, because
that
there are
too.
certain people that are serious about their classes. Like Mr. Snyder,
Yeah,
he used to do this class like twice a week, or might be more than
Was
that.
it?
But every day he had a table, and he was always out there. He'd go and get the people that are part of his class, and he was serious about it. He got books for them. He even bought food out on the store and had meals with them like every weekend.
So if there was more of that, you think that would have a greater impact on the people that instead of getting out, coming back, or would make their lives easier when they got out? The transition between getting out and becoming accustomed to outside again, how does that feel? What is that like?
it It was weird because there was really no transition. It was like I was locked up for 10 years, then I got out.
Yeah.
Like there was
Spread your
no
wings and fly.
transition.
They're kicking you out the nest.
They're like, all right, we'll see you later. You know, like that's it.
Let me ask you something. When you got your driver's license, when you got out, did you have an instructor?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I just got my driver's license yesterday, and there was no instructor. I put like a camera thing on the dash.
Okay, so I had put the camera on the dash, and then the instructor was in my ear on the phone.
My instructor was on
but
the
he
phone.
wasn't in the car with me.
You know, back in the day, last time I got my driver's license, before that, I had an instructor sitting on the, on the passenger side.
You literally didn't have anyone with you when you got took the test you made?
My mom was in the car with me because it was her car.
Yeah, whoever's car you're using is with
But
you.
not a person from the
DMV.
No, they have a camera
Yeah.
that you put on your dashboard, and you call them on the phone and you talk to them.
It's crazy.
It is.
But I guess it's more beneficial for them because that cut a whole lot of jobs
the
for them.
manpower.
Yeah.
It cuts out that
Jesus Christ.
part of paying off that they would have to do if they had somebody sitting in the car with you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
And
that's
the
a job
technology
elimination.
also is something that I'm getting used to still. I know how to use it. I just don't have the patience for it.
Now, you didn't lose track of the fact that technology was doing what it was doing while you were in prison. It's not like you lost.
No.
We had
lost
phones
it.
and
You had phones and tablets in
tablets.
there.
Okay, yeah. Guards. You got any friends that were guards?
No, the guards are all enemies. There were some that were better than others, but I don't care how cool they were to me and everything.
They were still.
When it came down to it, I was wearing one color, they were wearing another.
Right.
Is
And
that the way it goes?
well, at the end
In
of the
my
day,
mind.
if they have to choose between their job and the relationship that they had with you, they're gonna choose their job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you tell me you were in an all-black prison one time?
Yeah, Hancock.
Yeah, ran by all
That's-
black.
That's hard to imagine.
It was hard to live there.
Yeah.
Like,
It was horrible.
it was like coming from. All right, so I was at Smith. What time?
It's 3:02.
Okay.
Just so you know.
I was at Smith before I went to Hancock. Smith is white warden, white deputy warden, and black deputy warden. Most of the guards were white. There were a few black people. Hancock or Smith was run like by the book, like this is how we're doing it. Hancock, black warden, black deputy warden, 95% black staff. It was
More like 98%.
yeah, it was
You were there too?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we met.
How did that work out?
Oh man. Yeah, staff members, it was gang banging, drug dealing,
Yeah.
like they're getting away with murders. Like it was crazy.
All the money they put in their pocket.
Yeah, they're making money like
Yeah, all this stuff, the supplies.
like,
and stuff.
yeah,
Those-
the warden is a drug kingpin, like
Hey,
all
listen.
kind of stuff.
I remember. I don't know if it was after COVID or right before. It was right before COVID. The whole stock of tissue was. We had no tissue. Everyone's like, "Where's the tissue?" I'm like, "I know where the tissue's at. They've been taking the shit home."
Yeah.
And so they had to like go out to like the Dollar General, and they bought bulk tissue, from the Dollar General because they didn't have any tissue in stock because they were taking so much of it. And I guess one of the trucks were behind, so 1 week behind, we ran out of tissue.
This sounds like a movie-making situation.
Oh
Yeah,
man, listen.
definitely.
I told you that I wrote a TV show about this. I wrote about 8 episodes.
No, I didn't know that you'd written it about the all-black prison like that.
Well, not necessarily about that prison specifically,
Well, I'm
but a lot of
speaking
things
about
that
that
was influenced.
specific because just the thought of that being even in existence is weird to me.
It is absurd.
It
Yeah,
is
because
that
they-
and much more.
Yeah.
All black people in a prison, and they're operating it, and the people inside that they're. What was the population?
Mostly black. There was
And
white people.
they treated the white inmates so
Like,
much
listen,
Are
it
you
was like
serious?
reverse. It was like
better.
reverse racism.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even with the inmates, like sometimes we go in and I might ask for credit for something, and my face is good. I don't owe anybody in prison.
My face is good
I
too.
always pay my debts.
Keep my face good.
Yeah, I'm like a Lannister. I pay my debts, but I'll go in knowing that I have a good face, good credit, ask for credit. Oh man,
Oh
I
no,
can't do
bro.
that.
Oh no.
Then a white inmate will come in and he's like a ghost face or something. Just because he's white, he can go get credit. It's like, oh yeah, bro, I got you. I'm like, bro, I just asked you for credit. You could. The fuck?
Yeah.
Who
That's
are
why
you
he-
talking to when you're asking them for credit?
Just another inmate.
Just another inmate. Most likely they were black and they're selling stuff because white inmates couldn't sell anything because they.
Yeah, feeling far with Jack, and Mr. Tommy.
Yeah, Jack, because Jack's crazy. You gotta be crazy.
Yeah, Jack ain't.
But
So
anyway,
he-
so they'll deny me credit, but they'll credit this guy. And 9 times out of 10, when store day comes or when it's time for this guy to pay,
He owes everybody. He's gonna
owes-
leave. He's
yeah,
gonna
and
catch up.
And the person who didn't sell me or didn't front me, they're mad. Like,
Yeah.
man, that motherfucker. I was like, hey, bro,
I would have paid
hey,
you.
you should have fronted it to me. You should have gave me credit, but you didn't. So too bad. Go deal with it.
Yeah.
And see me when I sold stuff, I just didn't credit anyone.
I credited a few people.
I didn't do it.
I like to get what I thought was funny is like you might credit somebody like 2 soups. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so they owe you 3 back on store day, and then like they be avoiding you and stuff like that. Like about 2, bro, you should have got more out of me. You should have ran it up. I would have gave you more if that's all I had to do. Like cool, 2 soups to never speak to you again. That's great.
So if you
could have
keep
got more out of me.
a good attitude and a high vibratory sensation, so to speak, you can avoid being injured or killed in the prison?
Well,
Or are there circumstances at times that are beyond your control?
Yeah.
And you just have to be blessed to get out of it.
Well, you just gotta you just gotta be able to think. That's the real thing. You just gotta be.
but
able to think.
sometimes there's a similar incident that we both got into. We both got into a physical altercation where blood was shed because we asked somebody to get out of our room. I asked somebody to leave my room.
And it could have turned out bad.
It did. He kicked me in the face, split my. I don't know if you've seen the scar on my forehead.
Just
Yeah, I
because
remember
you
that.
asked them to leave?
Yeah.
You know,
Was the circumstances surrounding why you asked them to leave that happened?
It shouldn't matter. If I'm in my cell and I ask you to leave, you need to leave.
Well,
yeah, it's like your house. You
Yeah,
know?
if
somebody's
you
in
have somebody at
and
your
you say,
house-
okay, it's time for you to get out of my house. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here.
right,
you know?
right. That was like it, or that is how it is when it comes to
Yeah.
asking someone to leave.
Like
Yeah.
if I'm at your house and you ask me to leave, anything other than me leaving is considered disrespectful, right?
Okay.
Yeah, this is your sacred place,
feel
like
you.
your home,
Yeah.
where you live, where you lay your head. Like you should be able to have peace there. So if you
I
want
feel you.
someone to leave because they're disturbing your peace, they should
But
leave.
I was asking because, and I hear what you're saying. Prior to asking you to leave, though, if you haven't squared up with one another, so to speak, the asking you to leave, asking that person to leave, they feel put upon to cause them to react to you in such a manner that they want to hurt you. Why would someone want to hurt you? You just asking them to leave your.
It was that
Humble abode.
specific person. He had.
Okay.
There's a lot going.
So it
There was
was
a lot
deep-
going
it
on
was
with that
deep.
individual.
Yeah.
We're just gonna
Okay.
say that.
All right.
And you got people. There are people that are man. There's all those people in there are sensitive. Like 90% of them are like childish sensitive, and it's really.
Always on edge? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no,
when
they're
you
just
say
They're
sensitive.
just sensitive.
What
Like
do
they
you
don't know
mean?
how to take anything.
Yeah,
Like they take everything so
Oh,
personally.
You can't.
Oh, no
like-
joking around.
Okay, I was running a football game and I was doing the chains, and there was these 2 guys on the sidelines like blocking the chain, guys with the chains.
Right.
So we're in the middle of a play, and they're trying to get the game started. I'm like, hey man, y'all watch out, watch out. They stood there and looked at me, like, damn, bro, you ain't gonna say excuse me?
I know you see the whole
are
football
These
game.
are 2 gangbangers. One got tattoos on his face, you know what I'm saying? Other one, big gangbanger, and he's talking to me about manners. I'm like, bro, are you that fucking sensitive? So I said, you know what? Oh, I'm sorry about that, bro. Excuse me, guys. Would you mind getting out of the way so we can continue this football game? I said it real proper to them, and they looked at me all crazy. All right, man. Shit, you didn't have to get all smart. I'm like, y'all didn't have to get so sensitive.
Like, yeah.
I'm saying a football game's going on. Get the fuck out the way, But yeah, the guys in there are very sensitive. I told a guy to leave my room, and he waited for me to turn my back, and he came in and stabbed me in the back, and both my lungs got collapsed, and
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I ended up being on top of him and having the knife. I was taking the knife out of his hand, but he was a blood. So all his homies, they were coming toward the room, and what stopped them from attacking me was a big homie. We had something in common. We watched Game of Thrones together. So he heard the ruckus, and he comes out of his room and sees me on top
And
of.
save your life.
Yeah, he sees me on top of the dude, and I'm taking the knife. He's like, "Mecca, stop!" hey, look at me, man. You got my word. If you let them go, they ain't gonna do nothing to you. I'm gonna make sure, But if you take the knife and do what you do to them, I'm going back to my room. And I thought about it. Very shortly. I said, all right, go ahead, because I'm going home. I'm not gonna die in this place. Because if I would have done what I wanted to do,
they would have got
two of us would have died. At least two of us would have died. Because I was gonna kill his ass, and I was gonna try to get at least one more with me. But I thought better of it, and I trusted.
How deep into your sentence were you at that time?
Hey, this was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's like the closer you get to going home,
the closer you get to going home. That's what. Like, I got kicked in my face. Like what?
Yeah, right
like
before you about to go
6
home.
months before I got home.
Yeah.
I had that incident with Fred. I thought I was gonna have to murder him. I thank you for that.
Yeah,
day.
I encouraged you to do that though. Didn't I bring the motor to your room?
Yeah. Well, no, I already had one.
Yeah.
But then I gave Slugger my word. I was like, I'm not gonna do nothing to this man, even though he deserved it. But in the end,
I was on the bullshit after that. I was ready to do something to him.
And then at the end, he ended up going to another dorm and got jumped bad, bad.
Yeah. He was a booty bandit anyways.
He was one of them people. Like, he tried so hard to fit in. Like, and he's not a little dude either. Like, this dude's bigger than both of us. Like, he's not a little dude by any means, but like, he's a little dude, if that makes sense.
I hear you.
Like,
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys made it out, because a lot of people don't make it out, do they?
There's a lot of people that
that make it out
don't stay out.
Don't stay, but
don't appreciate it.
But the ones that make it out and don't stay out, a lot of them don't live long either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what the rate of or the lifespan is after a person comes out of prison, but it doesn't seem to have affected you in the manner that it would have anything to do with your mortality as far as your lifespan is concerned.
Hope not.
Yeah, so cause both you guys actually seem so vibrant and alive and whatever, although those experiences. How long did it take you to just readjust after going through that experience where you could have lost your life? Or have you gotten over that? Do you still have any residue left on you at that?
After experiencing all that I experienced in there, when that actually happened, I had already been stabbed before, and I've been in a situation like that before. So it was really just, hey, all in the day's work. Yeah. So I just keep on pushing.
Okay.
I come back from the hospital, I recover, get back to doing what I was doing before. Just be more vigilant, keep everyone away from you, because the reason why it happened it wasn't because of me. That wasn't my guest that was in the room. That was my roommate's guest, and he didn't know how to tell him no. He didn't know how to tell him to leave. So I had to be the one to tell his guest to leave. So I never made that mistake again.
Right on. That was a lesson, a deep lesson.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy you guys are out and that you're able to talk about it in such a up-spirited manner.
Right.
Because I don't know if I could stand being locked up. You asked me earlier before we started if I'd ever been locked up. One time, for one night, I was locked up in a cell. And this is when I was a teenager. They asked your great-grandmother, to bring me down to the police station for something that had happened, and they were gonna just talk to me, but they kept me in jail overnight. And it was the worst feeling that I ever. I'm 75 now, and I remember when that cell went clink, and I knew I couldn't get up and walk out of there.
Right.
I've never felt anything like that before or after that.
Yeah, that I can say this when I think back. Like, every night we have to lock our doors, and they've got to the point where what's really supposed to happen, they have to come and lock the doors, but they have us so programmed that we close our own doors. But just every time that door closes, I did have a feeling like, man, it's like it's over with.
Yeah.
Like, it's done. If anything happens out there, if these people abandon us, whatever, it's over.
Yeah, I've always had that fear that like the zombie apocalypse or something is gonna happen when we're locked down, and then they're just gonna leave, and we're just gonna be in the cell, and like there's literally nothing that we can do.
But I always kept tools. I used to know. I knew how to cut metal. I used to cut vents. I used to cut doors.
Yeah.
So
you
I had
guys
a way
like
to get
prison movies?
I hate them.
No.
Why?
Because either they're not honest,
Yeah.
like they're completely unrealistic,
or they're overly honest.
I haven't seen any overly honest, honestly. I've definitely seen some over the top stuff. Yeah,
they're gonna exaggerate in Hollywood,
but it's like for one, I lived it. You know what I'm saying? Just like people that been through war, they're not gonna come home and watch war movies. You know, rape victims, they're not gonna. Well, I don't know if there's rape movies, but like people that have been traumatized and triggered by certain things, they're not gonna like willingly go through.
Well,
that
you know,
again.
they have,
Some
they
might.
have. It depends on the angle that it's coming from. They have comedies about it. You know, like Good Times. I was thinking when you were talking about this all black person. That they might make a movie and call it Good Times because it's a characterization of how we are as from the perspective of someone writing it to show how we are. Because I can just imagine all the craziness and the things that just the whole idea of thinking about it even existing is absurd.
Right.
Because the how we live here in this country. So I could see a comedy taking place. But then it wouldn't be funny to people who had actually experienced what the life was like.
Right.
So why would you watch something like that? Just a thought. Just a thought.
Some people still like it.
Yeah.
Just
There
not
were
me.
people
It's
like
not
there
my
was one dorm that I was in when I was at Montgomery. Every Saturday we watched Locked Up all day. Like we are locked up. Why are we watching TV?
Yeah, why are you
watching them locked up on TV while we're sitting here in cells. Like it doesn't make any sense.
You're locked up watching someone else locked up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy.
It's crazy. Like it's absurd. And like it wasn't like a one-time thing. Every Saturday.
And if it's not that, it's Lifetime. I told you these people in there are sensitive. They watch
sensitive.
Lifetime. Look,
Lifetime
me growing up,
stories.
Yeah, me growing up, Lifetime was not.
It was the woman's
on a man's channel. Like
yeah, that was the woman's
on
channel.
a man's TV. If you get caught watching Lifetime as a man, your man cards gets revoked like immediately. These guys watch Lifetime religiously, and if you go down there and say anything about it,
they gonna say something about you.
They get mad. What we hit about this TV, man? We'll do something about this TV. It's like, hey, go ahead and watch your little Lifetime.
Yeah,
and I'll
watch
leave
your
you alone.
Lifetime. Just when Rick and Morty comes on, make sure it's on.
Yeah, when Rick and Morty come on, we're gonna hit about that.
They didn't want no problems when we wanted to watch Rick and Morty
Or Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Well, it's good, you guys. Like I said, it's good that you're able to sit here and talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
To talk about it.
I feel like other people, because the prison system is unfortunately not going anywhere, and so there's other people that are gonna end up in the same situations that we were in, and I would like to help them, or help people who have family members that are locked up, help them understand what it is.
It's a
that they're going through.
business.
For sure.
Right?
It is a business.
I mean, it hasn't always been a business, though, has it? Because it has been since its inception?
Sure.
Okay.
What?
Oh yeah,
we
I
were
guess
having
this system, yeah.
We were having this system and that we have in America.
Yeah, now,
yes.
back in the day when they had a justice system and they know this person did whatever. I mean, they don't just lock people up for years at a time. If they feel like you've done something that requires you to be locked up for 20 years, just go ahead and kill them.
Yeah.
Because you have to feed them, house them.
And also the lifespan back then, like people were old at like 35.
Yeah.
Like we would be senior citizens. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah. But now it's just about getting a bunch of people, housing them, and getting money from the government.
Yeah, it's just a replacement of slavery.
One last question on my part. Is it true that a lot of things are manufactured in prisons that people think are being manufactured outside of prisons and companies or whatever? Like,
I don't think they can do that. Georgia, they do have this GCI, this Georgia Correctional
Industries. Georgia Correctional.
I mean, things like
Industries.
household goods, supply, things that people.
They make stuff
electronic
like the milk,
devices.
they make food and stuff.
License plates.
Okay,
they do make license plates.
License plates because that's like state stuff. But like as far as like, we had a GCI sweatshop with clothes. Now they can't go get a contract with Levi's and make Levi jeans and sell it.
But they can
Why?
make all of
because they don't pay the inmates. That'd be slave labor.
I thought inmates got paid like
shit.
But like minimum,
no,
not in
something
Georgia.
lower
Not
than
in Georgia.
minimum wage.
Not
no,
in Georgia.
not in Georgia. There's one.
Nothing?
There is one prison in the state of Georgia that has one detail that gets paid.
The trash detail.
That's the trash detail in Muskogee County.
Yeah.
So prisoners work for free?
Oh no, they have the PIC program for like if you work at GCI, but you make like
Prisoners work for free?
In Georgia, yeah.
Yeah, you have the PIC
the
PIC
detail.
program or not the PI program for GCI. Yeah, Brandon was telling me about it.
Oh yeah. They just started that.
He made like $4 in a year. working every day. At the end of the year, he got $4.
No,
Yeah.
no, come on, not in the 2000s.
This
No,
was
just-
last year.
Yeah, just recently. Hey, but Brandon does make his money doing other things.
Yeah, that's what you have to do to survive prison.
Yeah.
Like in 2020, I made over $20,000 selling liquor and cooking liquor because I didn't want to be broke. I didn't want to just sit in prison with nothing. Like, what's worse than being in prison is being in prison with nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's horrible.
That goes back to the comfort thing. It's
Yeah.
up to you. You know, it's either you got it, say you got family that's gonna give you money and stuff, or you gotta
gonna
find a
get
way.
it.
You're gonna find a way to do it.
And one thing, prison, like, it invites innovativeness. And I've seen some of the most innovative people in prison. Like, if you were a hustler on the streets and, like, that's what you were about getting out there and making your money and getting that bag,
You can
then
do
you're
well
going to do
in
that same
prison.
thing in prison.
Okay.
And with that, it's time. I gotta take my grandfather to the airport. So,
Just some up
Yes.
and away.
oh, I did have one question that I wanted to ask you. What was it like on your end, like when we would have phone calls? One of the reasons why Emeka wanted to meet you so much is because there'd be times where I'd be in his room or he'd be in my room and I'd have the phone, and like the signal in there is really bad, so you got to talk on speakerphone. You got to have the phone like propped in a specific place.
It's
And so-
hard because I felt helpless.
Right.
I felt like I guess it just it was very hard on me emotionally to know that I couldn't do anything to change the situation you were in. And then when I was actually exposed to prison movies where I saw people suffering and going through changes, and those images were things that I thought maybe you might have to deal with. And it's not comfortable going to bed and feeling safe and just talking to you and knowing that you were in an environment where you could have lost your life. And I could have been getting a phone call saying, like somebody stabbed you or somebody hurt you or whatever. And those thoughts I had to make sure that I didn't, like wallow in that. I had to let them go. But it was difficult for me to talk to you when I talked to you. It wasn't like I could send you enough money to make my feelings go away because it wasn't based on the fact. It wasn't based on finance. It was based on my emotions and how I feel about you,
Right.
as my grandson. And I just hated that I didn't have any power. And then, coming conscious of the way that we are, as a people, have been treated and continue to be treated didn't help either. So it was hard talking to you while you were locked up.
I will say that our conversations definitely helped me make it through. Like, it gave
I'm
me
glad.
just knowing that I had somebody that I could talk to. There's
I'm
a lot of
glad.
people there's plenty of people, like, if you pull up on them and hand them a phone, like, here, bro, here's 30 minutes, just do whatever. Like, they wouldn't have nobody to call.
Yeah.
More often than I feel happy and blessed that I was able to talk to you and to have something to say. Because the people that you're talking about sometimes, I think, that don't say anything is because they don't know how, because we've been conditioned not to know how to say anything.
Well, it's not that they don't say it, it's that they have no one to talk to.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
man, we got to wrap this up. We need an actual sign off. We're going to work on that. But
Yep.
Sign
Week
off would
3.
be good.
week 3.
Yeah, it was our pleasure with our guest here.
Thank you.
Hopefully we can have you back on the show one day.
All right.
Definitely.
All right.
I look forward to
Thank you
that.
guys for listening.
Peace out.
Good show.